The sun hung merciless over the New Mexico desert, baking the earth until it cracked like old leather. Through wavering heat mirages, a lone rider appeared on the horizon, slumped forward in his saddle. Blood darkened his left shoulder, dripping steadily onto parched ground that swallowed each crimson drop without trace. Cole Hardin, 40 years old with eyes that had seen more death than most undertakers, checked over his shoulder for the 20th time that hour. Nothing but dust and distance behind him, for now. His Winchester 73 lay across his lap, the metal hot enough to brand cattle. 3 bullets remained in the chamber, plus whatever was left in his belt. Not enough if they caught up. His horse stumbled. "Easy, girl," he muttered, patting her sweat-lathered neck. The mare had carried him 60 miles through punishing terrain, outrunning Marshall Taylor and his bounty hunters, one of whom now lay dead back near the Texas border, courtesy of Cole's marksmanship. The wound in his shoulder throbbed with each hoofbeat. The bullet had gone clean through, but blood loss was making his vision swim. He needed shelter, water, and time, 3 things in desperately short supply in this forsaken landscape. Through the shimmer of heat, a weathered structure materialized ahead. An abandoned trading post, its wooden sign dangling by a single nail. Cole straightened in his saddle, hope and wariness battling within him. Such places rarely stood empty in these territories. As he approached, the unmistakable metallic click of a hammer being cocked froze him in place. "That's far enough, stranger." A woman's voice, hard as flint. Cole squinted toward the trading post's shadowed doorway. A figure stood there, rifle leveled at his chest. "Just looking for water," he managed, his voice sandpaper rough. "For my horse, and myself." "Turn around. There's nothing for you here." The sun beat down on Cole's back as black spots danced at the edges of his vision. "Ma'am, I've got money, and I'm not looking for trouble." "Yet trouble follows you." The woman stepped partially into the light. Apache, he could tell immediately. Mid-30s perhaps, with obsidian eyes that missed nothing. "Your shoulder is bleeding. Running from something or someone?" Cole swayed in his saddle. "Both." His horse took 2 more steps forward before his vision tunneled to darkness. The last thing Cole heard before hitting the ground was a string of curses, some English, some Apache, as the woman darted forward. Elena Two Hawks had survived 7 years alone in this wasteland by following one rule: trust nothing that bleeds. Yet here she was, dragging a white man twice her weight into her cabin, leaving a crimson trail across splintered floorboards. "Fool," she muttered, though whether to him or herself remained unclear. She'd claimed this abandoned trading post after soldiers slaughtered her village, taking only her husband's Colt revolver and the clothes on her back. 7 years of solitude had hardened her like the desert around her, weathered, resilient, dangerous when threatened. The stranger's breathing came ragged as she cut away his blood-soaked shirt. The bullet wound was clean, through and through, but angry red streaks already spread outward. Infection beginning. Elena retrieved a clay jar of crushed herbs mixed with whiskey, medicine her grandmother had taught her to make. The white man would probably die anyway, but something in his face, the lines of hardship that mirrored her own, made her pause. She cleaned the wound with practiced movements, applied her medicine, and bound it with strips torn from his own shirt. Then she took his Winchester, his Colt, and his ammunition belt, placing them well out of reach. When Cole finally stirred hours later, the first sensation was searing pain. The second was thirst that clawed at his throat. The third was the unmistakable feeling of being watched. "Water," he croaked. "Over there." The Apache woman nodded toward a clay cup beside him. "Drink slow or you'll waste it." Cole propped himself up on his good elbow, gasping at the lightning bolt of pain. He reached for the cup with a trembling hand. "Who's chasing you?" she asked, seated across the room, her face half-shadowed. He drank before answering. Marshall Taylor, from Fort Smith. Why? $500, dead or alive? Cole's laugh was bitter. Preferably dead. Murder? Justice, he corrected, meeting her gaze. But the law doesn't always see the difference. A gust of wind rattled the shutters. Elena moved to the window, peering out at gathering clouds. Storm coming, big one. I need to move on. You won't make a mile in your condition. She turned to face him. And nobody travels in a sandstorm. You're trapped here, white man, same as me. Cole studied her, noting the scar that ran from her left eye to her jaw. The calloused hands, the way she positioned herself for quick escape. This woman had survived hell and expected more of it daily. Name's Cole Hardin, not white man. Elena, no surname offered. The first blast of wind slammed against the cabin wall like a battering ram. Dust seeped through every crack and crevice. Help me board up these windows, Elena ordered, already moving. If you can stand. Cole forced himself to his feet, swallowing a groan as the room tilted. Together they worked in tense silence, hammering planks across windows as the sky outside darkened to ominous brown. When a section of roof began to lift, Cole moved instinctively, bracing it with a support beam, despite the agony in his shoulder. Elena's eyes flickered toward him, reassessing. You've done this before. Survived? Cole managed a grim smile. It's what I do best. The storm descended like God's fury, shrieking wind carrying millions of sand particles that scoured everything in their path. Inside the reinforced cabin, two strangers who trusted nothing found themselves reluctantly depending on each other for survival. Dawn broke clear and silent, as if the previous day's violence had been nothing but a bad dream. Cole stood in the doorway, surveying the transformed landscape. Dunes had shifted, covering half the corral fence. The trading post sign was simply gone. Your wound needs cleaning. Elena appeared beside him, carrying her clay jar of medicine. Cole nodded, removing his makeshift bandage. The angry red streaks had receded. Whatever she'd used was working. Where'd you learn that? He asked as she applied more of the pungent mixture. My grandmother was a healer. A pause. Before soldiers put a bullet in her head. Cole absorbed this without comment. He'd fought in the war between the states, seen what men in uniform did to those deemed expendable by progress. You should leave when you can ride, Elena said, binding his shoulder with fresh cloth. I owe you. I don't want your debt. A glint caught Cole's eye. 3 riders approaching from the east, the morning sun reflecting off rifle barrels. Company, he warned, stepping back into shadow. Elena grabbed her husband's Colt from her belt. Get inside. The riders approached at leisure, 3 cowboys with hard eyes and trail-worn clothes. Their leader, a bear-like man with a red beard, dismounted first. Water for our horses, ma'am, he called, his tone making it clear this wasn't a request. Elena stood motionless on the porch. 2 buckets. Then move on. The red-bearded man spat tobacco juice into the dirt, mighty unfriendly for a lone squaw. His eyes raked over her, especially one without a man. She's not alone. Cole stepped onto the porch, standing tall despite the fire in his shoulder. And we don't want trouble. The cowboys exchanged looks, hands hovering near their pistols. Didn't know the trading post was running again, Redbeard said, studying Cole. You 2 married? Yes. Cole's lie came without hesitation. White man taking up with an Apache. The second cowboy snickered. Guess when you're out here long enough, anything looks good. Cole's hand twitched, but Elena's slight head shake stopped him. These men weren't worth dying over. Water's in the trough, she said coldly. Fill your canteens and go. The cowboys watered their horses, muttering among themselves. As they mounted up, Redbeard turned back. Folks in town might be interested to hear about this place and who's running it. After they disappeared into the distance, Elena rounded on Cole. I didn't need your protection. Wasn't protection, Cole replied. It was arithmetic. 3 guns against 1 makes poor odds. Now they think we're together. Better than them thinking you're alone. Elena stormed back to the cabin. Cole followed more slowly, scanning the horizon. Those riders weren't bounty hunters, but word travels fast in territory this empty. It was only a matter of time before his past caught up. Over the next week, an uneasy partnership formed. Cole's strength returned gradually. He repaired the roof while Elena reinforced the back wall. They spoke little, but watched each other constantly. 2 wounded predators sharing the same den. One evening, as they skinned rabbits from Elena's traps, Cole finally asked what he'd wondered since the first day. Your husband, was he killed in the raid? Elena's knife stilled. Yes, 7 years ago. They all were. Army? She nodded once sharply. Blamed us for cattle raids we didn't commit. Slaughtered everyone while I was gathering herbs in the hills. Her voice remained flat, emotionless. I buried 37 people, including my husband and my sister's children. Cole said nothing. No words existed for such things. Your turn, Elena said. Who did you kill to earn that bounty? James Blackwood, son of Colonel Blackwood, biggest landowner in East Texas. Cole cleaned his knife on his trouser leg. The colonel's men shot my father over a boundary dispute. Then his son came to our ranch, gloating. The fire crackled between them. So you killed him. Put a bullet through his black heart. Cole's voice was steady. Just like he deserved. Elena studied him across the flames. And you've been running ever since. 5 years now. They fell silent, the shared understanding between them deeper than words. Both had killed out of justice denied. Both lived with the consequences. Later that night, Cole spotted movement on the ridge above the trading post. The flash of light on glass. Someone watching through field glasses. We've got company, he told Elena, who was instantly alert. Ridgeline, probably scouts. Taylor? Has to be. Cole checked his Winchester. I need to move on. They'll burn this place to the ground to get to me. This is my home, Elena said fiercely. I won't run again. Then we prepare to fight. Over the next 2 days, they transformed the trading post into a fortress. Cole dug firing pits at strategic points while Elena set tripwires and snares around the perimeter. Inside, they stockpiled ammunition and water. Can you shoot that Winchester? Cole asked, nodding toward the rifle. Not well enough. He took her to the ridge behind the trading post, set up targets, and taught her the fundamentals of long-distance shooting. Elena proved a quick study, her steady hands and keen eyes making her a natural marksman. During these lessons, the walls between them began to crumble. Cole found himself telling her about his childhood in Kentucky, his years in the Union Army. Elena spoke of her tribe's traditions, of the grandmother who had taught her medicine. One evening, Cole presented her with his father's pocket knife, intricate scrollwork decorating its bone handle. Why? She asked, turning the knife in her hands. Because you saved my life, he said simply, and because you might need it. Elena accepted with a nod, understanding the significance of such a gift from a man like Cole. That night, for the first time, they slept on the same side of the cabin. The attack came at dawn 3 days later. Marshal Taylor and 5 riders, including the notorious gunman Reeves, surrounded the trading post. Their horses' hooves raised dust clouds in the blue morning light. Cole Hardin! Taylor's voice boomed across the yard. Come out now and face justice. Cole and Elena were already in position, he at the front window, she covering the back approach from a hidden firing pit. What kind of justice, Marshal? Cole called back. The kind that lets rich men murder poor ones over land? I've got a warrant for your arrest, Hardin, dead or alive. $500 on your head. And how much is Colonel Blackwood paying on top of that bounty? A new voice spoke. cold, precise. Enough to make it worth our while. Reeves, the gunslinger, whose reputation was built on a foundation of corpses. Cole glanced at Elena through the side window, receiving her confirming nod. She was ready. "I'm not coming out, Marshal," Cole projected, "and I'm not alone." "You're Apache woman?" Taylor laughed. "This doesn't concern her. Send her out, and maybe she walks away alive." "This is my land," Elena shouted, her voice carrying clear and strong. "You are trespassing." "Have it your way," Taylor signaled his men. "Burn them out." The first shots shattered the morning stillness. Bullets splintered wood as Cole and Elena returned fire from their positions. Two of Taylor's men advanced toward the cabin, while the others provided covering fire. Cole's Winchester barked 3 times. One of the advancing men fell, clutching his leg. The second dove behind a water trough. From her concealed position, Elena caught one of the flanking riders in her sights. She exhaled slowly, squeezed the trigger as Cole had taught her. The man toppled from his saddle. "They're pinned down," Cole called to her. "But they'll rush us soon." Elena slipped from her position, using the terrain as she'd been taught since childhood. Invisible, silent, she circled behind the attackers. Inside the cabin, Cole was startled by movement at the window. One of Taylor's men had crept close enough to aim directly at him. Before Cole could react, a shot rang out from an unexpected direction. The man crumpled. A grizzled rider Cole didn't recognize moved into view, rifle still smoking. "Cooper," Cole called, baffled. "Tom Cooper?" "Been tracking you a long time, Hardin," the man shouted back. "Not to kill you, to thank you." "Thank me?" "Blackwood's boy raped my sister before you put him down. She hanged herself a month later." Cooper fired again at Taylor's position. "Been riding with this posse 3 days, waiting for my chance." The tide turned rapidly. Taylor and Reeves found themselves caught in crossfire, retreating toward the ridge. "Hardin!" Taylor shouted. "Face me like a man. Just you and me." Cole knew it was a trap, but pride and exhaustion made the challenge impossible to refuse. He stepped into the yard, Winchester held loosely at his side. "Your move, Marshal." Taylor's hands dropped to his Colt. Cole's Winchester came up in one fluid motion. 2 shots thundered across the trading post yard. Taylor staggered, clutching his chest. Cole dropped to one knee, blood blossoming at his side. From the ridge, Reeves took aim at Cole's back. The shot never came. Instead, Reeves pitched forward, a neat hole between his shoulder blades. On the opposite ridge, Elena lowered the Winchester, smoke curling from its barrel. Cooper rode to Cole's side. "You're hit bad." "Not the first time." Cole grimaced. Elena appeared, already assessing his wound. Inside, now. Fever claimed Cole for 3 days. He drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes calling out names of men long dead, sometimes lying silent as death itself. Elena never left his side, using every healing skill her grandmother had taught her. On the 4th morning, Cole opened his eyes, truly conscious for the first time. Elena sat beside him, her face drawn with exhaustion. "You stayed," he whispered. "You would have died otherwise." Cole's hand found hers. "Why save me? You could have let them take me, been rid of the trouble I brought." Elena looked down at their joined hands. 7 years, she said softly. 7 years since anyone touched me, since I trusted anyone enough to let them close. And now I choose to trust you." Her eyes met his. "Because you chose to stay and fight for what's mine." Cooper remained until Cole could stand again, then rode out with news that would eventually clear Cole's name. Evidence of the Blackwoods' reign of terror against smaller ranchers. Testimony about the son's crimes. A month later, the trading post looked different. Repairs were complete. A small garden started behind the corral. Cole stood on the porch, watching the sun set over the desert that had nearly claimed his life. Elena joined him, the pocket knife he'd given her now worn at her belt. Darnell the trader passed by today, she said. Brings news of settlers moving this way. Railroad survey team not far behind. Cole nodded. We could make this a proper way station. Offer water, supplies. We? He turned to face her. If you'll have me. Elena studied him. This man who had brought danger to her door, who had fought for her land as if it were his own, who had seen her strength rather than her solitude. 7 years alone, she said. I think I've had enough of that. Cole's hand found hers, rough fingers interlacing. For the first time in years, neither of them reached for a weapon at the sound of approaching hoofbeats. For the first time since my father died, Cole said, watching the horizon, I'm not running anymore. I've found my ground. The desert stretched before them, harsh, unforgiving, yet somehow beautiful in the fading light. Barren ground that had witnessed blood and death, now promised something neither had dared hope for, a future.